Hey guys, how's it going? This is some guy, and today I'll be giving my opinion on a Racionais MC's track. It's been a while. This is Homem na Estrada, which I believe is Man on the Road. Is the rough translation. Yeah, it's been a while, and I've been keen to get back in doing some more of my Racionais requests as well as other Brazilian artists. And yeah, here I am. This is the most requested one I had. Yeah, the subtitles video I found seems popular based on the comments. So I'm assuming it'll be good, and I'm also going to be, hopefully you'll be watching, if you're from Brazil, able to use subtitles for this video, which are much better than the ones in my previous videos. If so, let me know what you think. Basically, it's a more time-consuming process, but it essentially involves me proofreading my English transcript before it's translated, which I assume will make it better. So yeah, let me know how that is, and if it's much better, then I'll do it in future. And I could also retrospectively do other videos with that as well if it's helpful. Because previously it's just literally been transcribed automatically and then translated automatically. So I imagine there's a fair bit of error. But anyway, that's that aside. Yeah, I don't think much. This was recommended by lots of people, but I didn't have well, there's too many to mention, actually. I think there's about 10 different people. So thank you all the same. Let's get stuck into this, though.
Homem na estrada recomeça a sua vida, sua finalidade, a sua liberdade, que foi perdida, subtraída, e quer provar a si mesmo que realmente mudou. Foi pela sua vida, sua finalidade, a sua liberdade, que foi perdida, subtraída, e quer provar a si mesmo que realmente mudou, que se recuperou e quer viver em paz, não olhar para trás, dizer ao crime nunca mais, pois sua infância não foi um mar de rosas não. Na fé bem, lembra.
So whoever did this video got nearly 2 million views. This translation video. I'll link it as well. So I assumed it was good. Some of the other ones I found that were good translations actually were hardly any people who viewed it. So yeah, it's talking about a guy who got painful memories. See, this is the kind of thing that's really handy to know on the fly. So it's like a juvenile center. I think that's what we call it in young offenders in the UK. Okay.
Pois sua infância não foi um mar de rosas não. Na fé bem, lembranças dolorosas então. Sim, ganhar dinheiro, ficar rico enfim. Muitos morreram sim, sonhando alto assim. Me digam quem é feliz, quem não se desespera, vendo nascer seu filho no berço da miséria. Lugar onde só tinham como atração bar e candomblé pra se tomar a benção. Esse é o palco da história que por mim será contado.
I was about to pause and ask what is candomblé, but it's put there. It's a Brazilian cult. Okay, I mean maybe it will explain it for me, but if not, what sort of thing is that? Like a cult to me is an extreme religious group where it's beyond sort of regular religion and people are a bit obsessed with it, I guess. Is that what that means?
Tomar a benção, esse é o palco da história que por mim será contado. O homem na estrada. Equilibrado num barranco incômodo, mal acabado e sujo, porém seu único lar, seu bem e seu refúgio. Um cheiro horrível de esgoto no quintal, por cima ou por baixo, se chover será fatal. Um pedaço do inferno aqui é onde eu estou. Até o IBGE passou aqui e nunca mais voltou.
That's so interesting. So I laugh. Obviously, it's horrible what he's talking about. But I think what it was saying is he's in some kind of house slum. Even I don't know if it's favela or what, but it's not nice. And he said that a plane flew over taking stats for whatever the Brazilian Institute of Geography and Statistics, and I think it's saying that it says never returned, but I assume it means in context they didn't even count it as a house. You know, that's such an interesting description.
Aqui é onde eu estou. Até o IBGE passou aqui e nunca mais voltou. Numerou os barracos, fez uma paz de perguntas. Logo depois esqueceram, filha da puta. Acharam uma mina morta e estuprada. Deviam estar com muita raiva. Mano, quanta paulada.
They did a survey at some point. I don't know what that was for, whether there was a development going on or... But obviously all he's saying is that, you know, they seem like they cared for a minute, the state, but then they didn't, because next line is talking about a girl being murdered and raped.
Uma mina morta e estuprada. Devia estar com muita raiva. Mano, quanta paulada. Estava irreconhecível. O rosto desfigurado, deu meia-noite e o corpo ainda estava lá, coberto com lençol, ressecado pelo sol, jogado. O IML estava só 10 horas atrasado. Sim, ganhar dinheiro.
Wow, 10 hours. That's crazy. That's crazy. Was this the second government sort of service he's referenced? That's going to be a running theme. Yeah, that's really fucked up.
O IML estava só 10 horas atrasado. Sim, ganhar dinheiro, ficar rico, enfim. Quero que meu filho nem se lembre daqui. Tenha uma vida segura, não quero que ele cresça com 8 na cintura e uma PT na cabeça. O resto da madrugada, sem dormir ele pensa o que fazer para sair.
ET in the head. In the head?
O resto da... Quero que ele cresça. Sem dormir ele pensa o que fazer para sair dessa situação. Desempregado então, por uma reputação, viveu na detenção. Ninguém confia não, e a vida desse homem para sempre foi danificada. O homem na estrada.
It sounds like it can be an issue in Brazil as it can be in the UK. Maybe not as bad. I don't know which, but in the sense that once someone's been in the system, and it could be when they were super young, like young enough, I mean children, when they're still children legally, and then they're forever prevented by many opportunities because they've got a criminal record. Which I don't know. I feel like there's got to be like discretion used more by employers. You know, I understand that if someone's got a criminal record, you might want to just check what it was, you know, what offences they committed. I understand that, but if someone did all sorts of things as a child and then now an adult matured, like they could very well be a value to any business. But who's giving them the chances? And obviously, then what do? They commit crimes again, probably. That's what they would do before.
O homem na estrada. Amanhece mais um dia e tudo é exatamente igual. Calor insuportável, 28 graus, faltou água, já é rotina, monotonia.
Sorry, minor thing, but 28 degrees is standard day, is it? It does say unbearable hot. Oh, it's exactly the same. Right, got you. I was going to say, because I knew Brazil was hot, but like 28 is standard.
28 graus, faltou água, já é rotina, monotonia, não tem prazo pra voltar. Já fazem 5 dias, são 10 horas. A rua está agitada, uma ambulância foi chamada com extrema urgência. Loucura, violência, exagerado. Estourou, a própria mãe estava embriagado. Mas bem antes da ressaca ele foi julgado. Arrastado pela rua, o pobre do elemento. O inevitável lixamento, imaginem só. Ele ficou bem feio, não tiveram dó. Os ricos...
Damn. So, the person he's talking about has obviously got drunk and I don't know if he's assaulted or killed his mum. But he's saying before his hangover was judged, he's dragged to, like, he's obviously playing on like hangover when you're drunk, hungover from the drink he'd had. Also, I think he's literally talking about being hung or lynched. So he's saying the streets didn't have mercy, they judged him. Wow.
Imaginem só, ele ficou bem feio, não tiveram dó. Os ricos fazem campanha contra as drogas e falam sobre o poder destrutivo dela. Por outro lado, promove e ganham muito dinheiro com o álcool que é vendido.
Now these are the bits that I'm not so familiar with because this is like, I think, a Brazil specific thing, or at least South America. As in, rich definitely will campaign and leverage their positions here for their own gain, but specifically to sell alcohol in slums, like that's firstly like messed up and something I didn't know about. That's...
Por outro lado, promove e ganha muito dinheiro com o álcool que é vendido na favela. Empapuçado ele sai, vai dar um rolê. Não acredita no que vê, não daquela maneira. Crianças, gatos, cachorros disputam palmo a palmo seu café da manhã na lateral da feira. Molecada sem futuro eu já consigo ver. Só vão na escola pra comer apenas nada mais. Como é que vão aprender sem incentivo de alguém? Sem orgulho, sem respeito, sem saúde, sem paz. O mano meu tava ganhando um dinheiro. Tinha comprado carro, até Rolex tinha. Foi fuzilado a queimar.
Now that translation looks a bit odd to me at the end. So he's got a friend, he's got money. Okay. He was something at close range in the school? Posting the coke. I get roughly what's happening here, but those last 2 sentences are a bit, they don't make sense to me.
A roupa num colégio, abastecendo a playboyzada de farinha. Ficou famoso, virou notícia, rendeu dinheiro aos jornais, cartaz à polícia. 20 anos de idade e alcançou os primeiros lugares. Superstar do Notícias Populares. Uma semana depois chegou o crack. Gente rica por trás, diretoria. Aqui periferia, miséria de sobra. Salário por dia garante a mão de obra. A clientela tem...
Also, yeah, interesting that he put that line, sums are normally on the outside in Brazil, just because of the fact that he put that in. I don't know when this was released, and I appreciate that Racionais MC were bigger than Brazil, you know. I feel like that line is deliberately put in knowing that he's got an international audience as well. Obviously, that wouldn't be news to any Brazilian, right?
Salário por dia garante a mão de obra. A clientela tem grana e compra bem. Tudo em casa. Costa quente de sócio. A playboyzada muito louca até os ossos.
I haven't got much translation here, so... Okay, well, let me know if I've missed anything key there. I really hope this is going to not continue. And it's overall a decent translation.
Vender droga por aqui, grande negócio. Sim, ganhar dinheiro, ficar rico, enfim. Quero um futuro melhor, não quero morrer assim. No nem qualquer e qualquer, um indigente sem nome, sem nada. Homem na estrada.
We're going to get some kind of extra twist or something now.
Assaltos na redondeza levantaram suspeitas, logo acusaram a favela para variar. E o boato que corre é que esse homem está com seu nome lá na lista dos suspeitos, pregada na parede do bar. A noite chega, um clima estranho no ar, e ele sem desconfiar de nada vai dormir tranquilamente, mas na calada caguetar os seus antecedentes, como se fosse uma doença incurável no seu braço. A tatuagem deve ser uma passagem 57 na lei.
Well, he's got a tattoo. Article 157. That was the other song I read to. Was related to that. Something. What was it about again? To do with the prison code. I can't remember now. I should remember that. But yeah, my other reaction for the song that's got essentially that name.
No seu braço a tatuagem deve ser uma passagem 57 na lei. Do seu lado não tem mais ninguém. A justiça criminal é implacável. Tiram sua liberdade, família e moral, mesmo longe do sistema carcerário. Te chamarão pra sempre de ex-presidiário. Não confio na polícia, raça do caralho. Se eles me acham baleado na calçada, chutam minha cara e cospem em mim. Eu sangraria até a morte, já era um abraço. Por isso a minha segurança eu mesmo faço. É madrugada.
Yeah, just before going to the next bit, a really powerful image about how he talked about the tattoo, the prison tattoo, whatever that was, being a physical mark for life. Not only has he already talked about the mental damage and sort of life-changing nature of prison, physically you're marked as well. And then he's also saying that the police apparently, you know, if they saw you dead and they see you're an ex-convict, it's always funny to them. Is what it sounds like. So yeah, once you're in that, once you've been branded as that, I think is what he's trying to say. You're doomed, really.
Parece estar tudo normal, mas esse homem desperta pressentindo o mal. Muito cachorro latindo, ele acorda ouvindo barulho de carro e passos no quintal. A vizinhança está calada e insegura, premeditando um final que já conhecem bem. Na madrugada da favela não existem leis. Talvez a lei do silêncio, a lei do cão, talvez vão invadir o seu barraco e a polícia. Vieram pra arregaçar, cheios de ódio e malícia. Filhos da puta, comedores de carniça. Já deram minha sentença e eu nem tava na treta. Não são poucos e já vieram muito loucos. Matar na crocodilagem, não vão perder viagem. 15 caras lá fora, diversos calibres. E eu apenas com uma 13 tiros automática. Sou eu mesmo e eu, meu Deus e meu orixá. No primeiro barulho eu vou atirar. Se eles me pegam, meu filho fica sem ninguém. O que eles querem? Mais um pretinho na FEBEM. Sim, ganhar dinheiro fica...
So it's linked back to... So I just remember what that was. So firstly, this reminds me of... Well, it makes me think a bit of what I imagine the US is like. I've only been to New York once, so I don't really know in reality what it's like. But I think it's fair to say they've got a hell of a lot more guns and the police are a lot more... assertive, should we say, in these situations. In the UK, to get like that many armed police at a property, like it has to be something big, like maybe I don't know, like a terrorist threat or something like that. Like it wouldn't be for, you know, someone that, you know, was a drug dealer or a street guy. Anyway, and then yeah, it said that, what do you want to do? So they're gonna, like, my son, do you want to have another one that's another one that's sent to FEMBM, whatever you call it, which you said at the start was the orphanage where he started. So again, it's very powerful that it's just illustrating how the cycle can just keep going.
O que eles querem? Mais um pretinho na FEBEM. Sim, ganhar dinheiro, ficar rico, enfim. A gente sonha a vida inteira e só acorda no fim. Minha verdade foi outra, não dá mais tempo pra nada.
Homem claro, aparentando entre 25 e 30 anos, é encontrado morto na estrada do Mirim sem número. Tudo indica ter sido acerto de contas entre quadrilhas rivais. Segundo a polícia, a vítima tinha vasta.
Oh, it's another very powerful track from Rational MC. Yet again. Yeah, it's just amazing how they can tell these stories essentially. What I assume are they're meant to represent many people like that, you know, who go a certain path, and yeah, essentially. So this guy thought he could sort of break the cycle, you know, make money maybe illegitimately, but then he'd be able to provide for his son, blah blah blah. It was like a means to an end, and you know, I'm not saying personally that that's not justified sometimes, or even maybe you have no choice. But what he's saying, I think, is that the system means that often these people then end up getting killed or incarcerated for doing that, and then the cycle goes on because then their kids, you know, start in the same position that they did. So, yeah, the road life, it doesn't sound great, but it doesn't sound great. But yeah, fantastically written again, and I was ripped for 8.5 minutes on this one. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, comment if you did, subscribe if you haven't already. Really appreciate that. Otherwise, I'm out.